Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. 7 more people who tested positive for COVID-19 have died in Saskatchewan. The province is reporting 336 new cases of COVID-19, 46 of those in the Northwest. 180 people are in hospital, including 11 in the Northwest. 26 people are in intensive care, with 2 of those in our zone. 223 more people have recovered. The Lloydminster exhibition Chase the Ace Jackpot has now reached over $50,000. Our Shelby Clark chats with them for more details on how strong the support from the community has been so far.
Joining me is Jackie Tomeyer with the Lloydminster Agricultural Exhibition Association. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. So we haven't caught up in a while now. How has the Chase the Ace Jackpot been going so far?
You know, we have been super excited. Every week is building more and more tickets, and we've had to bring in a couple extra volunteers, which has been great because we're selling so many tickets. We finally feel like we're maybe going to catch fire here and it's going to take right off.
And how has support been from residents so far with this?
Oh, we have seen so many people come out and support this week after week, and we want to thank those people that come and spread the word. And every week we're getting more new customers coming in and purchasing their tickets. And, you know, some are purchasing because they like to play the game. Others are purchasing because they like to support us and they want to see us around in the future. And lots are doing it for both those reasons.
And has this been the biggest jackpot the Lloyd X has seen for Chase the Ace so far?
Yeah, we're at $50,000 and $65. So over $50,000. So that's the highest we've grown so far. And we have another really strong week of sales going. So by next Wednesday, we'll be well over that. So.
And what exactly do the proceeds from this Chase the Ace jackpot go towards for the Lloydminster exhibition?
So we have a couple, when you apply for a raffle lottery license, you have to identify what you're going to use the money for. So we have a couple projects that we are going to use. One is Ways Operating. We planned this well before COVID hit. So we are going to use some of the funds just to keep us going. But the other couple projects are obtaining some land to the north of us so that we always have opportunities to expand and to give Lloydminster even more. And then we have a couple other small projects that we have earmarked for some of this money that once COVID is over and we can get back operating, we will definitely see those to fruition.
And for people who might not be aware of how this works, can you explain how residents can participate in this?
Yeah, so every single week is a new draw. So you have to purchase tickets weekly, and of that week's sales, 20% of that weekly sales goes to a winner right away. So every week there's a winner that wins 20% of that week's sales, 30% goes into the growing jackpot, and 50% goes to Lloyd X. So every single ticket that you buy, $5 is going right to Lloyd X to help us, to help our future, and to give back to Lloydminster.
And did you guys expect to see how strong the support has been from residents with this Chase the Ace jackpot, even through the global pandemic?
Yeah, we've been really happy with that. The initial idea of this whole raffle was that we would be able to sell tickets at our events. So we would have people on the grounds that could purchase those tickets. And without that happening, it's taken a little slower for the jackpot to grow. But now the last about 4 weeks, we've really seen an increase. People are really getting excited. And that's what we're here for. We're here for the excitement we bring to Lloydminster and to the community. And we just encourage, tune in every Wednesday night. It's kind of fun to watch the barrel spin and then watch the dealer play the cards. And, it only takes one ticket to win, and why not it be yours?
Yeah. And when will this jackpot end for people who don't know the deadline yet?
So our license goes until August, but it can end any week because those cards are found out, and the person whose name is drawn that night, if they're not in attendance, then we have a volunteer proxy that will draw a card from the ever shrinking deck. So right now we have 32 cards remaining, and if they pull the Ace of Hearts, that person wins that whole jackpot. So this next week it'll be probably between $53,000 and $55,000 if that Ace of Hearts is pulled. But if not, they still get a chunk of the money with that 20%.
Well, I think that's really great to hear, to see how strong the support has been from the community for this chase, the Ace jackpot so far. Is there anything else you want to add, Jackie?
Well, how you can purchase tickets is you can come down to Lloyd X to purchase them like through the counter using your debit, your credit card, cash. You can go on our website and purchase through MasterCard or Visa, or one of the easiest ways is Interact e-transfer. So just through your bank, you can just e-transfer Chase the Ace at lloydexh.com. And after we get all those tickets in, we process them, and then we text you a picture of your tickets. So that's kind of a fun thing too. So
Perfect. Well, thank you again so much for joining me today.
thank you, Shelby.
Now our Connor Chan will take a first look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Looking at temperatures right now, I did say yesterday it was going to be a little bit warmer, around that -2, but right now we're sitting around that -7. We did have lots of sun throughout the day and a bit of cloud coverage. We're going to see a little bit of a colder weekend, kind of around that -8 range is what we'll see for tomorrow, but with the wind chill, it feels a little bit more like -11 outside. As we take a look here at some other temperatures in the area here, -7 in Vermilion, as well as in St. Paul and Cold Lake as well, -9 out in Vegreville, -3 for Edmonton, -1 there in Wainwright, -4 in both Bonnyville and in Lac La Biche. We see -7 there in North Battleford as well, with -11 in Maidstone, -10 in Meadow Lake, with -8 for Green Lake, and -3 for Isle La Crosse. And we also see -3 there for Macklin, and then -5 sitting in Provost. Now taking a look here for tomorrow, -11 overnight with some clear skies in North Battleford overnight tonight, going to around that -5 range tomorrow. Could feel a little bit like -5 to -8 is what we could see there. Same with the results for Cold Lake, -11 overnight tonight with some cloud coverage, and we could see that -4 turn into like around that -8 range for Cold Lake tomorrow as well. And same results for us here. We are expecting around that -4 to -8 range, varying on the day there. -8 though overnight though, with some cloud coverage there, and then -4, like I mentioned, -4 to -8 range, what we could see with some cloud coverage and sun mix for tomorrow. So the wind chill, it could feel a little bit colder. We could feel more on that -14 range. We are going to have a little bit of a colder weekend as well, with -5 there for Sunday, and then a low there, a -12 to start the day off there. But as we look ahead into Monday, we should be starting to get back into the positive temperatures there, as we see +1 to start on Monday with some cloud coverage. It could feel a little bit colder than +1 at -8 there. We could see those single positive temperatures throughout the rest of the week, which will show in the 7-day forecast later on. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more primetime local news.
Welcome back. As we head into the new year, many people are looking to improve themselves by eating healthier. Our Jace Mackey got some tips from a registered dietitian.
As we head into the new year, a lot of people are making resolutions to just live healthier lives or eat healthier. And to talk a little bit more about this, I'm joined by a registered dietitian and author, Tricia Silverman. Tricia, thanks for taking some time to talk with us today.
Thank you so much for having me here. Very excited to be here.
And I'm excited too to get some tips from you and just to learn some stuff. So my first question, just starting off, is for someone who's maybe this year thinking, I want to eat a little healthier, what are some easy steps that they can take to improve their diet?
Well, one of the things might be to think about having a focus. Many people know that they have to change their eating habits, but there's too many things to work with. What I found with many clients is that if they choose one thing like water, they focus on that, and then the other things start to fall into place. So maybe you make a goal to drink your water each day. And one thing that's great about water is that we can leave cues around to remind us. So this is a glass I leave in my kitchen, and it's right next to my refrigerator. It's a cue. I see the water glass, and then I know, oh, I need to drink water. I keep another glass in my bathroom as well, so that I just stay hydrated throughout the day. Whether I'm going into the bathroom or going into the kitchen, I can drink my water. So focus on water. That's really key. And then another thing to focus on might be vegetables. Maybe you work on the water first and then you work on your vegetables. If you think about your plate at lunch and dinner, what I recommend is that half your plate be vegetables. And then at snacks and at breakfast time too, try to get vegetables in, but definitely at least at lunch and dinner. Now, maybe you're only eating vegetables at dinner. So the goal might be, I'm going to eat them at lunchtime too. and then keep that going for a while until you're ready to make another change. To try to do everything at once sometimes can really be self-defeating, but for some people, they do make sweeping change and they're able to do a lot of things at once. But if that, you want to think about, how have you been successful in the past with other things in life? Was it a lot of changes at once or one little change? So baby steps can be really helpful, and maybe focusing on water might be a good way to start.
Another thing I wanted to talk about is with the pandemic still continuing on and lockdowns in place in many different jurisdictions, a lot of people may be still working from home and their routine may be a little different. So I wanted to talk about do you think eating 3 meals a day is the way to go, or should people maybe have some snacks in between, have maybe smaller meals? What's the best approach when it comes to something like that?
It's such a good question. I work very individually with people, and it really depends on the people. And sometimes you have to experiment a little bit to figure out what might work best for you. What I think doesn't work well is to graze throughout the day, because if we're grazing, we're probably not eating vegetables and fruit, whole grains. If you can't categorize a food into a food group, then it's probably not so great for you. And I have an example just to show you. So if you think about granola bars, for example, some people think, oh, I'll have a granola bar. Well, look at all the sugar in that granola bar, and those, the little package. Now, if we choose something else that, not so great either, cookies, well, look at that sugar there. And then look at the sugar here.
Yes.
It's actually it's really not that different. So we want to be careful. Sometimes with even healthier foods, we think that we're doing okay. And what we can do instead is think about, if you have a craving, reach for something sweet like fruit. And then maybe adding a little bit of peanut butter to that can be really helpful. So with snacks, if when we're talking about meal times and what's the best approach, figure out, if I'm going, try 3 meals a day. Does that work for you? I find every 3 to 4 hours tends to be a good time period to be eating, to stay maximally energized. So if you eat at, let's say you get up at 7, and then maybe you eat a small snack at 10, and then maybe lunch around 1, and then maybe dinner time is 4 or 5, or maybe there's another little snack in between. But we want to think about, for snacks, keeping them healthy. Can we categorize the cookies or granola bars into a food group? Not really, but we can say an apple is in the fruit group. Or, if we have vegetables like vegetables like carrots or celery, and then have it with hummus, we can say, all right, the vegetables, I'm getting my veggies in, and then hummus have protein. So, I'm going to get another good nutrient in at that snack time. So it's really thinking about, how do I maximize my choices in the moment? And try not to delay your good choices till tomorrow, or till after the weekend, or till Monday. It's the choices that we make now that will dictate how we feel tomorrow. And how, if we're looking on to lose weight, if we keep putting it off, it might not happen. So we just have to make good choices now and bring ourselves into the present moment to make those good choices. And what I found is that sometimes, many times, if not most times, people do know they have to make changes, but it's the mindset that can get in their way. And that's where being really positive, if you're not trying to get positive, and that's where we can do meditation, we can write gratitude journals, or, have a journal that you write in, or just think in the morning each day, what am I grateful for? And that can start to get you in a better frame of mind, rather than worried about what you don't have and what's going wrong. What's going right? There are many silver linings to the pandemic. And, it's a tough time for all of us, but many people can pick out, some good things that have happened along the way. So we want to focus on the good. The more you're in a positive mindset, the easier that it will be to make good nutritional choices.
And can you just talk a little bit about the importance of eating healthy and making sure you're getting, all the nutrition that you should be getting with the food that you eat, and how it's going to, not just affect your health physically, but maybe your mental health and stuff like that?
You certainly feel better when you eat a really healthy diet. I remember that there was a game show host out here, Drew Carey. You probably have you might have heard of him on Price is Right. And I remember reading about how he felt like he was he didn't know until after he lost a lot of weight and started to eat healthy and exercise more. he felt like he was under a cloud for many years. And I think a lot of people don't even know they're under a cloud. And that cloud is from eating a lot of junky food with junky ingredients. If you can't read it, don't eat it. Look at your ingredient list. And a lot of those junky foods don't make us feel, or junky ingredients don't make us feel good. And eating healthy truly makes you feel so much better. And then the fitness goes hand in hand with the nutrition. The exercise has an impact on your executive functioning so that you make better choices. You're better able to set goals for time management when you move and when you have your executive functioning is working well, and your fitness can improve that. And I say fitness, but I just mean moving. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to be, joining a class, although classes are great to join, but just moving, taking a walk, doing yoga, putting on fun music and dancing. Music can make you feel really good too.
Just before we go, you have a book that's out. Can you just tell people how they're able to get a hold of that if they're interested in reading some more of your tips and what you have to say?
Thank you. So my book is Healthy Dividends. It's available at amazon.ca, and it's Healthy Dividends, Investments in Nutrition, Movement, and Healthy Habits That Pay Off. And I wrote it to really just be a good, helpful overall resource to help people to live longer, get healthier, feel good, and move more.
Awesome, Trisha. Thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me today. I hope our viewers were able to learn some stuff from what we talked about today.
Welcome back. The Agricultural Producers Association of Saskatchewan is continuing to engage with federal decision makers on behalf of Saskatchewan farmers after the federal government announced carbon tax increases in December. Eric Bay has more.
Over the next decade, the federal carbon tax will increase to $170 a ton. It was announced last month. APAS projects this will raise the cost of producing wheat over $12 per acre in 2030, costs that farmers alone must bear.
So those are pretty significant costs, and really when you start multiplying that out for Saskatchewan farm income, it's in the hundreds of millions of dollars per year that'll be going towards carbon tax. So it's a concern, and producers are very concerned.
Farmers' pocketbooks will be hit most when it comes to transportation and grain drying, which is not a fixed cost. Most grain crops in Saskatchewan needed to be dried in 2019, and the added tax would only exacerbate producers' problems.
Really it's counterintuitive to what they want to see, occur as a lower and lower carbon footprint, because if we don't have the money to invest in improved technologies for grain drying or something as simple as a new tractor, every time you buy a new piece of equipment, there's a good chance that it's going to have a lower carbon footprint than the piece that it's replacing.
APAS is continuing to lobby the federal government to provide farmers with a carbon tax exemption.
The Parliamentary Budget Office, did point out that that it is significant costs on the grain drying side and transportation as well, grain. So I think it's important that we just keep lobbying with the federal government, and 2030 is a long way away, but at the same time, it's important that we get this right.
The group will be estimating carbon tax costs on other crop and livestock commodities as part of its efforts to obtain exemptions. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Now we're Connor Chan. We'll take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Looking right now, still sitting around that -9 mark, has kind of gone up a few degrees since last weather hit there. It's a little bit colder out west there. We see in Red Deer at -11, -8 in Athabasca and Rocky Mountain House, -3 in Edson, with -6 there for Whitecourt, -4 out in Jasper and in Edmonton right now. Taking a look in Saskatchewan, -8 in North Battleford, with -10 in Meadow Lake right now, with -6 for Prince Albert. And then we see -7 in Saskatoon, and then -5 in Melfort. As we take a look up north here in those far northern areas, Uranium City and Stony Rapids in the -17 and -15 range. We see -9s down the line here at Walston Lake, South End, and in Flin Flon. And then we see -6 there in L'Orange as well. Now taking a look here at northern Alberta, those farther northern regions, a little bit chillier also there. We see Fort Chipewyan at -12, and then high levels sitting at -14, -4 there in Fort McMurray, -5 for Peace River and in Slave Lake, with -11 currently right now in Grand Prairie. Now as we take a look here at southern Alberta, a little bit warmer warmer in some areas there. Minus 5 degrees in Medicine Hat, 3 degrees in Lethbridge. We're in the -2 there in Calgary. And then we see a little bit colder temperatures in Banff and Coronation, sitting at -8 right now. We also see -8 there in Kindersley and Regina, with -3 in Moose Jaw, -2 for Swift Current, -7 degrees in Yorkton. Then we see -6 degrees all the way down there in Estevan. Now, as we look ahead into the rest of the country here, -2 in Winnipeg as we start to get into the later evening parts here in the eastern provinces. -2, as I mentioned there, for Winnipeg. -5 in both Toronto and Quebec City, with some cloud coverage continuing on. 2 degrees in St. John's. Then we see -5 in Halifax right now. Taking a look here at Vancouver, 7 degrees right now is what we're seeing. -20 up in Yellowknife, and then we see -2 degrees with a little bit of flurries up there in Whitehorse. Now, as we take a look here, what we could see for tomorrow, we could see, -4 is what our expected daytime high is heading into Saturday. -4 is expected with a little bit of sun and cloud mixed throughout the day. -4 though, and also we'll see there in Marwayne, Vermilion, Wainwright, Bonnyville, and Cold Lake as well, along with Lac La Biche. -6 in St. Paul tomorrow. We see -3s there in out west in Edmonton and in Vegreville as well. -5s in Maidstone and North Battleford for tomorrow. Meadow Lake and Green Lake also sitting at that -5, with -3 there in Provost and Macklin as well. And then we go up higher in the further northern regions of our Lakeland area. -5 also for Green Lake, and -4 in Isle La Crosse. Now, taking a look here at the next 7 days here, -5 on Sunday. We're going to get a little warmer starting on Monday here, expected with 1 degree temperatures and lots of cloud coverage. And throughout the day, throughout the week, excuse me, as we look ahead into Tuesday, +2 is expected there for Tuesday and on Wednesday. And we'll start to get a little bit warmer in the mornings as well, as you see that low start to drop starting on Monday, with that -9 low and -6 low for Tuesday. As we head into Thursday, 57% chance we could see some flurries of some kind that could lead to some icy conditions there at 0 degrees. And then we see Friday sitting at 1 degree with a low there of -8. That is a look at your weather forecast for now. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
With the NHL start date January 13th fast approaching and a successful World Junior Championship wrapped up, hockey fans would be safe to assume a return to all levels of hockey. This is not the case when it comes to major junior leagues.
We were very excited to announce yesterday that our regular season will start on Friday, January the 8th. That is a firm start date, not a tentative date. And as we continue to work...
That was a press conference back in October with WHL Commissioner Rob Robson. Unfortunately, that day has come, but Western Hockey League play has not. The WHL has been in contact with 4 separate provincial governments and 2 U.S. states. Robinson commented earlier this month saying the WHL continues to make every effort to get our season started, but our first priority has always been the health and safety of our players and everyone associated with the WHL. Given the public health restrictions that are currently in effect, we are not in a position to determine a new target date for our season. We will continue to consult with health authorities to determine when it is safe and responsible to get our season started. Now we will be taking a look at your pet pad pictures. Thank you to everyone who submitted a picture to our Facebook page, and we will be giving away a pet pad gift card at the end of the next hour.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
I'm joined here with Jennifer Ann Gordon, and she is an American author. Now, your book, Beautiful, Frightening, and Silent, was selected as the 2020 Kindle Book of the Year in the horror category. So what was your reaction to this?
So to be honest, the day before was Halloween. It was October 31st, and I got married that day. So that night was obviously my wedding night, and it was great, but I knew they were announcing the winners the next morning. And I had been selected in the top 5. So I was like, there might be a chance. There might be. So all night, I just kept like grabbing my cell phone and checking it. Like I'd wake up to use the bathroom, check my phone. And it was ridiculous. And then I thought, just stop checking it. You're on your weekend away of your honeymoon during a pandemic. Just enjoy that. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to touch my phone. And then a friend of mine, another author, she was also up for a different category, and she'd been checking her phone all night. So I found out from her because she sent me a message that said, congratulations. And I was like, what? And honestly, it just felt like winning an Oscar. Because I couldn't believe, that my debut novel won anything. And I won money, which was even crazier.
And, getting that recognition and getting other recognition for your books, it must mean a lot to you to see that people are taking notice in what you're writing.
It really, really did, especially because Beautiful, Frightening, and Silent is not a traditional horror novel in any sense of the word. It's, I've had horror reviewers read it and say, this isn't even horror. And I'm like, well, it is. But it's very lyrical, and a lot of it's written in free verse poetry. So it really borders on the edge of like literary and experimental and artistic. So to have people like it and read it, and the awards they've been really amazing.
You also released your new book titled When the Sleeping Dead Still Talk in November, which is the finale to the Hotel series. So what can readers of the series expect in this book?
Okay, so my Hotel series is a duology. It is 2 books that consists of From Daylight to Madness and When the Sleeping Dead Still Talk. And those are Victorian-based Gothic horror novels. So you can expect a lot of kind of my contemporary feminist views smushed into a Victorian repressed society. So the novels really center around how the mentally ill were treated in the Victorian era. It centers on 2 characters, a woman named Isabel, who is sent away because she's not grieving properly after the death of her newborn child, and a priest named Francis. I hate to give too much away about him because he is my center character in When the Sleeping Dead Still Talk. And he was introduced in From Daylight to Madness, but I just want to tell the readers that you don't know what you are getting into.
And you also host a podcast and a YouTube show. So does that help keep you inspired in your writing? And has it influenced your books at all?
So I don't think it's influenced my books, but it really does inspire my writing, especially my show Vox Vomitus, the podcast, because we talk to authors every week, best-selling authors, about the biggest mistakes they've made, as opposed to all of the things that have made them succeed. So it's been very hilarious and humbling, and it just inhumanizing. So like I see these people, these authors that are like rock stars to me. I admire them. I've read all of their books, like Carol Goodman. I've read like 22 of her books or something, it's ridiculous. And to talk to them just author to author and chatting about mistakes, it's been fun.
And if anyone is looking to get your books or see the podcast or anything else, where should they go?
The easiest place to find everything is if you go to my website, which is jenniferannegordon.com, and that is Anne with an E. You can find the links to all of my books there. Of course, they're on Amazon, but if you would prefer to support your local indie bookstore, you can go to bookshop.org. That would be great because indie bookstores are definitely struggling right now with the pandemic. And my podcast, Vox Vomitus, the place that you can watch it live is on Facebook at Vox Vomitus Podcast. We're also on SoundCloud, iTunes, Anchor, all of the places, Spotify. There's like 1,000 of them. We're also part of the Global Authors on the Air network, so we are on their homepage as well. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first time on Canadian television. And as somebody who lives in New Hampshire near Canada, I've always had kind of a Canadian fascination from Degrassi Junior High and Anne of Green Gables, and now you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jennifer.
Well, joining us for the first entertainment panel here of 2021 is Abby St. John. Abby, there's lots to talk about, upcoming movies for 2021. That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's just start with you giving us your movies that you're most excited for heading into this year.
Well, first and foremost, this was a movie that I was super excited for last year, which is Black Widow. It was obviously delayed due to the pandemic taking over the world. So when I heard that it was going to be moved to 2021, I got obviously upset. But now that we are in 2021, I'm very excited for Black Widow to come out. I've been a fan of Black Widow since she made her first appearance in Iron Man. And there's rumors that we'll possibly find out what happened in Budapest between her and Hawkeye, Clint, because they mentioned it a couple of times throughout Avengers, and there had been rumors that they were going to touch on what actually went down in Budapest. And another reason why I'm excited is I love an origin story. I love finding out where these characters came from. So knowing that we'll be able to see into her past, her family, that's very exciting. And there was also rumors that this could pave the way for Natasha's sister, who's played by Florence Pugh, to take over as Black Widow now that she is gone. So I'm very excited for Black Widow, especially because it's female-run superhero movie. We saw that with Captain Marvel being the first standalone female superhero movie through Marvel, so I'm very excited for that continuation. And then another movie that I'm very excited about is, of course, Spider-Man 3. I've been a Spider-Man fan ever since I was a child when the Amazing Spider-Man cartoons were on. So that's a given. I'm very excited. And all these rumors circulating around a multiverse live action multiverse movie, I was very excited about. Not a fan of the old Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, but I am excited that they could return into the movie. Plus Emma Stone and Kirsten Dunst's character making a return, Jamie Foxx and Alfred Molina returning. It's going to be a crazy movie, and I have very high hopes for this movie. So those are the two that I'm most excited for.
If you said you weren't a fan, I think you just angered a bunch of our audience there that were fans of the Tobey Maguire one. I know there's a lot of other Marvel movies coming out as well this year. The Eternals is one, Shang-Chi is another one that's also good to look at. For myself personally, I look at a movie like The Batman that has been delayed for a while, and of course has been delayed mainly because of COVID filming, and we got a glimpse of Robert Pattinson and his role in that, as well as James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which is got a unique take compared to David Ayers that a lot are saying are going to be very, very good. You got Margot Robbie coming back, and of course that was given the R rating. And another movie that you brought up in the beginning with Black Widow getting pushed back into 2021, I look at a movie like No Time to Die with Daniel Craig in his final role as James Bond, because that is kind of a very historic moment there. They're going to see the 007 title passed on to someone else here into the future of Bond movies there. And then also one movie that I'm really excited for, and I know you talked about this as your excitement as well, is Ghostbusters Afterlife, which of course Jason Reitman is taking over from his dad who directed the original Ghostbusters movies. But one movie I think that a lot of people are talking, Abby, maybe you can chime in on this as well, is Dune with Timothée Chalamet and that all-star cast, and how it's just been a project that hasn't really gotten off the ground until Denis Villeneuve, took over as director. So that movie just visually just looks really stunning, and I just want to know if you have any thoughts on that one in particular there.
Yeah, especially, it's been talked about all year long, Dune movie coming out. There's been trailers, pictures, everything about it. It looks visually, like you said, beautiful. It looks so well done just by watching the trailer, and it's created such a huge excitement for people to go see. And like you said, huge star-studded cast, and to see Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya in a role like this, it's very exciting. And I know that so many, especially younger fans, are very excited for this type of movie. we haven't really seen too many movies like this before, and so it's very interesting to see, or it is will be interesting to see what they do with it and how, besides the trailer, how the rest of the movie goes. And I'm very hopeful that this movie exceeds people's expectations, because the trailer definitely showed that it should. So hopefully that it does come through like that, but it's very exciting that it is finally coming out this year.
Absolutely. Well, Abby St. John, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. -4 heading into tomorrow, -5 on Sunday. Starting to warm up on Monday with the +1 there, and then +2 on both Tuesday and Wednesday. 0 degrees on Thursday there, and then 1 degree there on Friday.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.